You're listening to the Today's Eden podcast, episode 15. Happy Wednesday. Hey guys, today you get to hear from the sweetest woman, Magdalena Patterson, founder of Mommy Workouts and the Mommy Workouts app. Magdalena is a yoga teacher who's certified to teach in prenatal and pregnancy yoga. So we talk about those myths that go along with that, and we talk about how creating this app came about and why setting ourselves up for the idea of working out for an hour or even 30 minutes is not doable, what she's created and that makes it doable for women, especially mommies, to work out and take care of their bodies. After talking with her, I truly believe that every city should offer a program and class for mommies, just like she has created in her city. If you're like me, you have absolutely zero time to sit down and physically read a book, but putting headphones on is pretty easy. You can try Audible for free for 30 days at audibletrial.com/todayseden. Check out some of the books our guests have mentioned on the show that they found most influential. So let's get to this awesome episode with Magdalena. I have loved following this beautiful mama on Instagram, and I am so glad for the opportunity to get to hang out and have us get to know her better. Magdalena, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me. It's really a pleasure.
So before we get started and I start asking you some of these questions, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do and what life kind of looks like for you right now?
Okay, so I'm a San Diego yoga teacher, mom, wife, all of that together. And so life right now is pretty hectic. My daughter is 2.5, so she is pretty crazy, running around everywhere. And we're expecting a son, so I'm 6 months pregnant right now.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you. It's really exciting. And then I'm teaching all of my classes and, working with people one-on-one. So pretty busy schedule, but just really enjoying what we have right now, this beautiful time with my daughter, even though she is totally crazy.
Is it the terrible twos or no?
I think so, probably. And then, enjoying the pregnancy as much as I can, even though I always feel like the second pregnancy, I don't have all that time that I have the first time around, just pause and meditate and do my yoga. But I try as much as I can because I just know how important that is. So that's pretty much what's been going on now.
Yeah. So you created an app called Mommy Workouts, and you are currently teaching prenatal and pregnancy yoga. When did you realize that there was such a need for moms to have access to these two outlets for exercise?
Right. That's a great question. So pretty much when I worked out my whole life, I've been in the fitness industry for about 15 years and teaching yoga for about 7 years. So when I became a new mom, I stayed at home with my daughter for quite a while, and I just realized that I felt like being a new mom, it can be so hectic and you don't even have time to take a shower sometimes. You're constantly nursing and diaper changing, and let alone, get a nanny and go work out. So I used my background to create these workouts that you can do at home. Very simple, just 5-minute workouts. And I started taping them, posting them on Instagram. And all of a sudden, like all my friends and all the other new moms that I knew were like, oh my gosh, this is great. And it's really working. And you should do something with it. So I kind of felt encouraged. And then at the beginning, when the baby's really small, they sleep all the time. So I realized that I'm here at home with my baby, but I have also all this time on my hands. So I just started working on the app and put together a collection of the 5-minute workouts that moms can do anywhere, anytime. Really, all you need is your own body, a mat, and you can do it at home while your baby is sleeping. And all these workouts add up. So basically, I just wanted to bust the myth that you need 1 hour for a workout. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
times we feel like, oh, I need to get a nanny and I need to go to the gym for 1 hour and so to get a good workout. But I just wanted to show everybody that basically, you know, that's just really somebody back in the days created the you know, the myth that we need 1 hour. Every fitness class is 1 hour long, so we kind of feel that as a society we have to go to the gym and work out for 1 hour. But you know, you can do a mini workout while your baby's sleeping at home. You can do 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. If you have more time, you can do 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And if you do it throughout the day, multiple times, it all adds up and it's perfect. You know, it really started working, and just using my own body, using my knowledge as a yoga teacher and a trainer, just, you know, putting together simple workouts that you can do and anybody can do at home. Push-ups, squats, you know, some yoga flow, a little bit of cardio,
Right.
and just putting it together into 5 minute blocks that you can just do anytime.
It's so true that when you have a little one, especially little, even the gyms that offer the childcare, a lot of us don't want to hand over our babies to, somebody we don't know at the gym, and, we don't feel comfortable with that, or so we just, or like you said, we're nursing, we're changing diapers, we're doing all these things. And so getting dressed for the gym, packing the diaper bag, doing all that, driving there, it just seems impossible. So that's so awesome that you created that, because that's something you could do right at home, and and something that's 5 minutes, it's like doable for moms. And so when I was thinking about your classes that you do, I know that I've had a lot of friends talk to me because I do yoga. And so, they've texted me saying, can I do yoga if I'm pregnant? And I know that yoga can be scary and nerve wracking when you're new to yoga in general. But then when you're carrying a precious baby in your belly, it makes a lot of women hesitant about exercise, and even more so with yoga, I feel like, because yoga is a whole body movement kind of exercise that involves your abdomen area a lot. So what do you tell moms who want to practice but feel kind of that angst about it?
Yes, great question. I must say that prenatal yoga really is so close to my heart. It became my favorite class to teach, simply because it really is for any woman, even women who never practiced yoga before. When you become pregnant, it's just so intuitive for them to do yoga. And I really, really wish that every single pregnant woman was able to discover that. And I really hope that one day these prenatal yoga classes will be more accessible to women, in every studio. Right now, they're very far in between. But prenatal yoga is accessible really to anybody, to a woman who's never done yoga. And it's very simple. It's very gentle, and we focus mostly on meditation and connection with the baby. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, pregnant women are the best yogis ever, because they just get it. In yoga, we always strive for that, being present in the moment, tune out the outside world, tune out all the craziness out there, and just be right here, right now on your mat. And with pregnant women, they just get it. Because all you have to tell them is, place your hands to your belly, close your eyes, and talk with your baby, feel them, and don't worry about anything else. Mm-hmm. So they just get it. They tune in with their body, they tune in with their baby. And even, how many times you see a pregnant woman out there just walking on the street and she just, pauses, hands on her belly. It's just, they do it throughout the day. They're very present and content and very much in tune with their body. So in prenatal yoga, we just build on that. We do very, very gentle and very safe poses that stretch the body, strengthen the body, and basically alleviate any of the pains, aches and pains of pregnancy. And at the same time, we focus on, clearing the mind, because as you know, being pregnant can be very stressful. Yeah. Yes, and you have everybody from your family to your doctor to strangers on the street telling you what to do and what not to do, and it's just everybody's in your business, and you just want to scream like, "Can you just all leave me alone?" And and all the screening and all the technology that we have today, there's too much information, and I feel it's just very stressful to be pregnant these days. So in prenatal yoga, we kind of want to lead women to tune all that out and just focus on their own body, trust their own body, know that everything will be okay. Even if you were stranded on a deserted island, your body would figure out how to be pregnant, how to give birth, and you would figure out how to take care of your newborn. Even, if you didn't have any book to read or anybody to help you, it's just that ancient wisdom that women have in their bodies. So we really want to build on that and give women the confidence to be pregnant and be proud of their body, proud of their pregnancy, and trust themselves more than rather than doubting themselves. When it comes to birth and being a new mom, there's so much doubt and just so much insecurity that women go through. So we really want to work on just giving them that confidence. And one of the most important aspects of prenatal yoga that I really, really build on, and I think is the most important thing for any pregnant woman to do, is really to relax and meditate. Because just like the food that we eat, that nourishes our baby, with the correct nutrition, all the thoughts that we have and maybe all the stress that we have, all of that goes to our baby as well. So our brain releases hormones, according to how we are doing mentally, and that goes into the bloodstream, that goes through the placenta, through the umbilical cord to your baby. So we want to really encourage just happiness, calmness, and just contentment, so that the baby keeps receiving all those beautiful feelings and has a beautiful, calm environment for these 9 months that they're, growing and cooking inside us.
Yeah. And I love that about yoga, that it's so much about focusing on yourself and not comparing yourself to another person. And I feel like even in pregnancy, we're comparing how another woman is experiencing pregnancy versus how we're experiencing pregnancy. And so I think creating that space where we can just be and be okay with it and not feel pressured to do any certain amount of movements or don't do, I feel like that's just a space where you can just expect to just go and be, and whatever happens, happens. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Right, exactly. And what I really love about prenatal yoga as well, that women really feel free to open up and sort of bend there. At the beginning, you always say, okay, so what's on your mind this week? How have you been feeling? And because it's an environment with, other pregnant women, and nobody's judging there. Everybody's there because they're pregnant and they just want to relax and meditate and stretch their achy bodies. So women just really open up and feel at ease with sharing all the things that are on their mind. And exactly what you told me right now, some women are always pressured, like, they already gained too much weight or they gained too little weight, and people tell them, oh, you're barely showing, where's your belly? Or like, oh wow, you're only 5 months. Like, women are only always judged on how they look, during pregnancy, how much weight they gained. And it's really, who cares? Every woman has her own pregnancy and should feel confident and free to go through her pregnancy the way she wants to go through it. And whether it means that you only going to do, prenatal yoga and gentle stretching, or if you want to, keep running, if that's your thing, or lifting weights, it's every woman's choice, and nobody should be judging anybody for what they want to do during pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Is there a difference between prenatal yoga and then as you progress through your pregnancy, and you're getting further along? Is there a difference in how the practice will look, or is it kind of the same?
Definitely, yes. So in a regular prenatal class, we would have women in all stages of pregnancy, but we always modify and offer tailor the class to who's in the class, definitely. But a woman in first trimester and through most of the second trimester can still do pretty much all the poses.
Mhm.
Depends on how she feels again. But, towards the end, it's really much more gentle and more supportive. We use a lot of blocks and bolsters for the same poses. So that there could be two women next to one another, and one could be doing a full pose without a block and bolster, and the woman that's almost towards the end of her pregnancy would be doing the same pose but supported with blocks and bolsters just to make her more comfortable and just to make the pose more accessible. And then also what we do is like a labor preparation. So if you think of a labor, especially the way it used to be before modern medicine, it looked very much like yoga, like, being on all fours,
Yeah.
doing cat and cow, puppy pose, or squatting down in malasana. So a lot of these traditional laboring poses are very much like yoga. So we do a lot of what we call like labor preparation, just so that the body is comfortable already in the poses. So you don't stiffen up, it doesn't hurt, when you sit in the full squat for a long time, or if you're on hands and knees. So we kind of, close our eyes and flow through all these poses. And I always encourage women, like, this is when you create that mental catalog of poses that you can go to when you're in labor and you're trying to breathe through and get through a contraction. It's always so much better to work with your body and, do a nice flowy yoga pose and breathe through it than to be tense and, scream.
Mhm.
You can really ease the process of labor. And at the same time, we're very supportive. We never judge women on what type of labor or birth they choose. It's again up to every woman. But yoga will help you regardless of what birth you go through. Yoga will help you just by breathing and staying calm and just trusting yourself. Whether you do a natural birth or you end up having a C-section, just the best thing is really staying calm and breathing through it and not stressing out.
I think that should be like a woman's mantra through once you find out you're pregnant to raising kids is just trust yourself, because I feel like even like you said, people tell you, oh, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. But I feel like that continues on as you're raising kids, having that mindset of just trust yourself anywhere, even in a yoga class, then your body, you can listen to your body, and then you can decide, I'm not going to do this, or, you know, I can do this a different way, or it feels better this way. So yeah, I love that you said to trust your body, or
Yeah.
trust yourself, anyways. So, what are some of the benefits physically to practicing yoga when you're pregnant?
Right. So yoga can really help with all the different aches and pains, especially low back pain. We all
Oh yeah.
start feeling it in the low back, and all of those stretches are just really work wonders. And then a lot of the standing poses where we still use our legs and try to contract our leg muscles, they really work wonders for leg cramps or the restless leg syndrome, or that the leg and ankle tightening and tingling, a lot of those things that women experience, especially towards the end of pregnancy. So all of those poses where we still contract and work with our musculature, it helps a lot to create blood flow and alleviate those issues. Also, yoga helps you to relax, so you will sleep better as well, or at least they say sometimes there's nothing that helps, right? And you spend those sleepless nights in pregnancy. But really, yoga can definitely help to relax you, relieve anxiety, especially if you're anxious, especially if you're advanced age maternity, which a lot of women these days are. We all choose to postpone our pregnancy till later a lot of times. And so myself included, and a lot of my friends are over 35 being pregnant, and you have to go through all the advanced screening and extra sonograms, and it's as much as you try to say that, oh, it's all good, I don't care. It's always in your head, like, oh, what if they find something? And
Yeah.
so we're always a little bit anxious, even if we try to pretend like, oh, I'm a yogi and I'm totally cool and I'm relaxing and meditating. I'm still nervous being pregnant, at 39. It's not the easiest thing. So yoga definitely helps you just to let go of all of that, and your body will figure it out if everything's fine. What will happen will happen. So definitely mental benefits, relaxing, but physical benefits of aches and pains, and also just preparing the body in general for birth. Like we do a lot of hip openers. So then, if you're in labor, a lot of times you end up pushing for many hours. With my first birth, I pushed at the end after 20-hour labor. I pushed for 3 hours
Oh my
to get my
goodness.
daughter out. So yeah, so really just like the physical stamina, and just open hips, and not feeling like you're cramping up. That can definitely help. So we do lots and lots of hip openers all the time, lots of strengthening poses, just so that you're sort of ready. The labor is not only the biggest mental thing you're ever going to do, but also labor and birth, but also the greatest physical achievement. I mean, nothing can compare to that. You know it. I mean, you have a couple kids, right? So nothing can compare to that. So we really, just like you wouldn't run a marathon without any training, I always feel like prenatal yoga is like that training for that labor and birth. It's we train physically and mentally, because it is as much mental as it is physical,
Yeah.
labor and birth. Hmm.
So, and having a little one, a 2.5 year old, and then also being pregnant, how has yoga impacted your life? And how is it mixing, motherhood and trying to still do that while being pregnant? How does that look like for you, or how does that impact you?
Yes. So I try to really keep up my routine that I do yoga first thing in the morning. And so far, pretty much successfully, I incorporated my daughter ever since she was a little baby. Like back then, she just used to lay on my mat. And what's the difference? She's gonna lay in her bassinet, or she's gonna lay on a mat. She doesn't really
Right.
care. So I always just flopped her on the mat and did yoga first thing in the morning. And then as she started crawling around, then I, just made it more fun for her, added more toys. And then now she actually has her own mat, her little mat, and every morning she rolls it out next to me. And sometimes she wants to do her own thing, but sometimes she really wants to join, and she like does the down dog, and she tries to mimic what I'm doing, or sometimes she crawls all over me so I don't get any yoga done. But it's just fun to kind of like make it part of your life. So what it taught me, that yoga can really is again so much more than the physical poses, because sometimes really my daughter just wants to you know lay on top of me or crawl on top of me. So maybe sometimes I just sit there and breathe, and try to just be present. So that's one thing. I think it's wonderful to incorporate your kid into it, since they're very little. Again, that the whole notion that you need to get a nanny and go somewhere away from home to get your exercise. I always try to show women that you don't have to do that. And then just having the career as a yoga teacher, I think it's great because it's something that I'm so passionate about, and it's really my life, my passion, my life. And now being a mother, it's even more important because it really adds that balance and that calmness and clarity. And a lot of times, my friends say, "Oh my gosh, you're so calm. Like you're like you never stress out about anything." And I really think that's because of yoga. Even and I, of course, sometimes I lose my cool, but if my daughter's acting up, I really try to stay calm and just be like, whatever, there's nothing I can do anyway. It's all good. And I know that yoga gives me that power to just stay calm and not be less reactive. I think that's one of the best things about yoga, that it really makes you less reactive. Even when you're not on your mat, when you're off your mat throughout your day, you kind of have that yoga bubble around you that gives you that little cushioning between yourself and the reactions you have with the outside world. So that's a beautiful, beautiful effect of yoga. And then, of course, if I'm all day long with my daughter, and then I get to, my husband comes home and I get to go and teach a couple classes. It's a wonderful balance. It's really a wonderful balance, and I come home renewed, re-energized, and again with that beautiful calm spirit that yoga gives you.
Yeah, I saw a picture of you, and I couldn't remember where I saw it at, but it's you, and you're in shavasana with your daughter, right? Um, yeah. So, and I just thought that was so powerful, and just like you're not even moving, you're just laying there. She's laying on your chest, and it's just kind of powerful, and in a way that you guys are connecting, and you're relaxing together, and you're just being together. And I just thought that was a super beautiful picture, and yeah, I just loved it.
Oh, thank you. We do that a lot also in Mommy and Me Yoga. We have a Mommy and Me Yoga also at the studio where I teach. And when the new moms come with their little babies, like we do at the end, like at least 10 or 15 minutes, just, shavasana, whatever shape it may be. Sometimes you got to do it on your side if the baby wants to breastfeed at the same time. But just like that uh, calm few minutes just to lay with your baby and connect, and silence and nothing happening around you. I think it's so beautiful.
Wow, that is awesome. I didn't even think about that, that in a mommy and me class you could actually nurse your kid during yoga. That would be so awesome.
It's so awesome. The Mommy and Me, it's really there. We always say there's no rules in Mommy and Me class. Whatever it to nurse, you can be in pigeon pose and nurse your baby. If they whatever they want to do, they're the boss. So we just we're there and we're trying to get as much yoga as we can, but really they're the boss. And it's a fun class.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does that work out? A bunch of toddlers and moms trying to do yoga.
Well, with the Mommy and Me, we try to limit it for really new moms.
Mm,
It's a wonderful class for just new moms. When you're at home and you may feel isolated, it's just great to have those little outlets
yeah.
to come with your baby and do something for yourself, which I think is so important. Sometimes we are so guilty of even like doing something for ourselves. Is everything has to be for our kids. So mommy and me yoga is so great because you come there and you just again flop your baby on the mat if they're still really little, and or sometimes they're still sleeping, so you leave them in the car seat and you just do yoga, and it's great, and so what's the difference if you would be hanging out at home or at the babies don't know, right? As long as they're with you and the breast milk is there when they need it, it's all good, and you're doing something for yourself. So that's why I really love my Mommy and Me yoga.
Yeah, I think that we definitely need more of those classes available, because you're right that when you have a newborn, you are kind of isolated. A lot of moms just stay in the house, and we want to talk to adults. We want to talk about what's going on with our baby, what we're experiencing. And so there, yeah, I definitely think that there needs to be a space like that available um, for moms all over the world. So that's awesome that you're providing that for your moms in your area. What are some practical do's and don'ts for practicing while pregnant? Is there anything that you would say, like, this is an absolute, like, try to stay away from that, or maybe things that they can look for when pursuing a yoga class if they're pregnant?
Definitely, great question. I always say that a pregnant woman is very intuitive. Even again, if they never read one book about pregnancy, like women used to be very physical, work very physical jobs, all in history while pregnant, and then just giving birth and going right back to work. Just carrying their baby in a wrap. So a woman's body is very much capable, very strong, and very intuitive. So a pregnant woman will just feel what's right and what's not right for her. If she pushes it a little too hard, she'll definitely get lightheaded, nauseous, and she needs to stop. So going from that, number one thing I would always tell pregnant women: listen to your body. And I know that's such a cliche. They always say, listen to your body, but really when you're pregnant, it's probably the most important advice. Like the second you start, if you're in a regular yoga class and the second you start feeling a little lightheaded, out of breath, just pause, go to child's pose or step outside, grab a drink of water, because it's not just you, it's your baby inside. We're not taking care of ourselves only, but our baby. So if you're out of breath, the baby's not getting enough oxygen as well. So whatever you feel, your baby feels, and especially the most important thing is, the heat. So not getting overheated. I would definitely, the biggest no-no probably would be like a very heated class, and sometimes even a regular vinyasa class can get pretty heated just by having all these bodies there moving with their breath. So even if your own body wouldn't become overheated, you can really get nauseous and lightheaded. So just always watch it. Step outside, pause in child's pose, have a sip of water, stay hydrated. So I mean, it would have to take a long time for you to get severely overheated to impact the baby, but still, just why risk it? Just be very mindful of the heat around you and of the pace that you're going. So if you feel like you're getting out of breath, just pause, because then once the baby's here, then you can hit it hard again and work out as hard as you like. But now it's really about us and our baby, and the connection, and it's really not about us, killing ourselves to do a really hard workout.
Yeah. And I think that that's something that we kind of worry about when we do get pregnant is, oh my gosh, I need to keep up the work or I'm going to lose what I've got. So what would you say to moms that still feel like they need to push themselves in a situation like that, maybe?
hmm So I always tell pregnant women, just whatever makes you happy. So if you and if you feel comfortable doing
Yeah.
that. So if you already had a good workout regimen and you used to go to the gym and lift weights, 2 to 3 times a week, and you used to go for a run every day, then keep doing that as long as it feels good. Especially like I said, first trimester and most of the second trimester, it might feel fantastic. You might need to lighten up the weight or just do body weight exercises. I actually like to work out as well. So, but once I'm pregnant, I just do body weight, everything. You still get a great workout, even doing squats and lunges and push-ups, just with using your own body. So always just try to modify just to accommodate how you're feeling. And and probably, yeah, that would be the most important thing. If you, as long as you've been doing that already and you feel comfortable, then you can keep going. But if you start feeling really, really tired or exhausted, or it doesn't feel good anymore, then just back off and know that it's okay, because once the baby's here, you can hit it hard again. So I the second advice probably would be, don't start anything new, and that's pretty logical, right? You wouldn't start anything new if you discover you're pregnant, with the exception of prenatal yoga, because prenatal yoga is so gentle that really it's designed for women, even if they've never done yoga before, to come to prenatal yoga.
Yeah, I think that's so amazing what you're doing. And I know that there aren't enough classes out there like that for us moms. So, how do you manage doing all those things, creating an app, and then at the same time being a mom and then teaching yoga classes? Is there a way that you kind of, in your mind, balance the yeses and the nos to what you allow yourself to do or don't do?
Yes, that's definitely one of the biggest challenges right now, being a mom, being able to say no, like, don't don't add on too many things, and being able to say no. It's really, I think, the biggest challenge for women in general, even not being moms. We just always want to please everybody, right? But I learned now, being a mom, really just to focus on the important things and balance it, and really keep my career going as well, because it's so important just to keep your sanity sometimes and just feel fulfilled. So basically, I am very fortunate that I have my husband's mom is here. So my daughter spends a lot of time with grandma, and that's really been blessing, and that really allowed me to still focus on teaching and creating the app and doing everything I do for for mommy workouts and for my yoga business. So it's really been a blessing. So I think finding, not being afraid to ask for
Mm.
help. At the beginning, I kind of like wanted to do it all by myself, but now I just don't hesitate to pick up the phone, call grandma, like, can I drop her off today?
Uh-huh.
It's really a blessing. And I know a lot of people, and especially I think in the United States, a lot of us live in a different city than our parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like we move around a lot. So it's a really a luxury to have your family, to have grandparents around. So I would say one advice, if you do have them around, just don't be shy.
Yeah.
They love it, and just use them as much as you can, because it's really the best childcare, and and not to mention it's free,
Right.
right?
For most of us, anyways, you would hope that they aren't charging you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I definitely struggled with that for sure when I had our first child. Was I wanted to do everything myself, and I did, even when my husband would want to hold our daughter, I'd be like, no, I want her back, like, can I have her? Just give her to me. But so a little off track, but when I was reading about you, I was super intrigued when I read that you had a background in designing classes for severe pain, post traumatic brain injury, and PTSD. And that, I think that is so amazing. How did you get involved in that? And then why and how did you switch your focus to motherhood wellness?
Right. So that when I became a yoga teacher, I really, first I started in a very, from the very physical standpoint. I was used to be in fitness industry, and then I started yoga, and I was so into power yoga and sweating and everything. But once I really discovered yoga, I knew that it was so much more about the mental
Mm-hmm.
aspect, how you feel, how yoga makes you feel, how it helps you just live your life more calmly. And I started studying that more, and that's what I did. A lot of work with people with a lot of stress who needed to meditate. And then I got a fantastic job offer at a local hospital that's very that has kind of alternative approach. They mix Eastern and Western medicine. So they have a department where they like to create and design yoga classes for their patients,
Oh, that's so
depending
cool.
on. Right, exactly. I was really blown away. So I immediately jumped on it, and then once I started working with them, that was just so eye opening, and I realized that really any type of patient, any type of illness can, not that it can be cured solely by yoga and meditation, but it can help. Any type of patient can really benefit from yoga and meditation, and uh, be it severe pain or PTSD, just meditating and just getting in touch with yourself, and it's really works wonders. So it has been one of my favorite, the little branches that I do in what I do in yoga. But it's mind blowing, pretty much. I always read when I study more and more about yoga. I always read the studies that about 90% of all illnesses come from your mind, come from
Mm-hmm.
stress.
Yeah.
Pretty much, it's stress induced. So if you think about it, it's really fantastic that there's more and more hospitals, more and more health centers that try to incorporate mind body connection, meditation, yoga, just to address this aspect of illness, that it really might be stress induced,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be. And I would never, try to say like, oh, you just need to, oh, you have this going on, you just need to relax and do yoga more. I would never, you never know what is really going on with another person. But just seeing that any type of patient can benefit and how relaxed they are after they do a little bit of yoga and a little bit of meditation, it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally agree and relate to that. Lately, I have made it a point to do yoga in the morning, and I make sure that I don't check my Facebook, I don't check my Instagram, my emails, anything like that until after I've either gone for a walk and I've listened to somebody else's podcast that can, influence me in a positive way, or done yoga. And then after that, I'll, engage with the world, so to speak, by Facebook or Instagram or something. But I feel like lately that it has kind of given me kind of like a shield against, what would normally get me down, or overwhelm my mind or my thoughts or whatever, to where once I come out of yoga or from listening to a podcast, that my mind is kind of in the right place, and that, my thoughts are in the right place. I'm already in a relaxed kind of mood, to where I'm sort of protected in a way from, like you said, being reactive instead of, so that's, I like that. And so are you still working with the hospital while you're doing the pregnancy and prenatal yoga?
Yes, I am. I go there once a week and teach a couple classes, and then I always help, design classes for that other teachers can teach. But yes, it's one of my favorite things to do. However, I can't really dedicate that much time for that, but I do go there once a week. So I try to, just like we said at the beginning, it's hard to say no to things, but so really pick and choose what's really important and what I feel will make the most difference. And this definitely is about, right up there with prenatal yoga, probably.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of people that suffer from PTSD, I know, in general, and that's such a hard and heavy thing to experience if you are going through something like PTSD. Have you had anybody, that was in that you saw at the hospital that was going through your program, kind of get to the other side, to where, they were thankful for the experience through your class? Or
Yes, definitely. I had quite a few people, want to have conversations after class about, oh, that was really wonderful, just to be able to relax and quiet down the mind. And we do different meditation techniques and different stress relieving techniques during the class. And I think the most amazing thing is really just to watch the people. Like, one thing I learned teaching there is really the observing the people, the students, the patients is so much more important than anything else. So at the beginning, they might be a little fidgety and uncomfortable. You can tell that they really don't know what to even expect, and they would be just distrusting, you know, reasonably, rightfully so. They would be just kind of uncomfortable sitting there. And then as we go through the class and we make it more and more very comfortable and very gentle, and just keep telling them to just, go inside and relax and forget about the outside world and slow down the breath. We do a lot of breath work as well. All of a sudden you start seeing them really going in, meaning like going into their yoga bubble, like I already mentioned before. And that's just magical when you see that all of a sudden you watch them from being so anxious on the mat and not even knowing what to do with themselves, to being so comfortable. And let's say at the end we lay in shavasana and they really are able to completely relax and let go and let their physical body just melt and just relax and trust themselves. And that's a wonderful thing as a result of a yoga class.
Well, kudos to you in that hospital for creating that space for those people, because I don't think that I've even heard of anything like that in our area. So that's awesome that you guys are putting that together and making that happen for those people. So I just wanted to acknowledge you, and just that I'm so glad that I found you on through Instagram, and that I've read about you. And I think that the body positivity that you put out, the encouragement for moms that you put out, and like the app and the spaces that you're creating for moms is just amazing. Like I said, when you're a new mommy, you're kind of isolated and you don't have that space. And I just feel like that is the perfect space of non-judgment, to be social, but to take care of yourself. Because once you have a baby, it becomes all about the baby, like you said. And so it's important to kind of give back to yourself, so you have something to pour, from. And so, yeah, I just think that's amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're using your skills to do that and that you're sharing that with everybody else around you. That's awesome.
Thank you, Ashley, and same to you. You are doing a fantastic job with all of these podcasts and, creating content for moms to go to and draw on. It's fantastic. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. So, the last three questions that I wanted to ask you are the same ones that I ask all of my guests. And the first one is, what is the most inspirational book that you've read?
Okay, so that would have to be The Four Agreements
Mm.
by Don Miguel Ruiz. I read that book about 7 years ago when I started going through my yoga teacher training and really wanting to transition my life more towards yoga. And it really was just mind blowing and it changed my life. I was, 7 years ago, I was in the height of my fitness career but just was so physically strained and burnt out and I would say unhappy and disappointed in relationships, personal and professional, just expecting too much from people or assuming and just feeling a little bit lost what I wanted to do. And reading this book, The Four Agreements, really just opened my eyes. That the book is about four principles to practice in order to create love, happiness, and just contentment in your life. And it's so simple. I still remember by heart, all the four agreements. The most important for me that changed my life was don't take anything personally. And that's just as simple as this. Don't take anything personally. Really, nothing about in this world is about you. Nothing that other people do is about you. It all stems from the inside of each person. Even if somebody's mean to you, it's because something is going on in their life. It has nothing to do with you. So yeah. It just opened my eyes, and the next agreement is don't never assume anything. Really, just don't assume that somebody's going to do something just because you're assuming that they will do it. Just like always be clear with people and just approach it head on. And like I said, that book really changed my life and opened my eyes, and I think it was wonderful. I would recommend everybody to read that.
Yeah, I'm listening to you and I'm like, yep, I struggle with that and I struggle with that. I definitely am horrible at assuming, and like you said, I always forget that it's not always about me or because of me. It could be because of something going on in somebody else's life. And so, yeah, I wrote that down. I'm going to read that one.
It's so great, and it's an easy read. It's a small, tiny book, easy read, and you'll be like, yes, 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 it's so true, So definitely recommend that one.
Well, thank you for sharing that. If you could empower women in one way, what would it be?
I'm going to go in the direction of, again, focusing on being a new mom. If I could empower new moms in one way. And we already talked a lot about that, but really stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty about putting yourself first. And I went through it. I'm talking from experience. It's really, don't feel guilty to put yourself first, especially when you're a mom. And now I'm at the point where I shamelessly ask myself, what's in it for me? Even like I'm like, okay, let's go to the playground, but I'll go to the playground where that's next to my favorite coffee shop. So I get to sit for my latte while, she plays in the kids corner there. It's wonderful. And, or, when kids are really little and you're just like, going for a walk with the stroller, just ask yourself, what's in it for me? Is there going to be a space that I can, roll down my yoga mat and do a little yoga or just meditate while they're asleep? Again, because, who cares if they're sleeping here or they're sleeping there? Just always do something for yourself and don't feel guilty about it. And, and in the end of the day, it's just about asking yourself, like, did I take care of myself today? Or did I just slave all day for my kids? So I always ask that to myself. Did I have a little time to, read a few pages from a book or, just sit down and have a nice cup of tea or journal for a little bit, or did I just run around all day like a crazy woman? I realized that the result at the end of the day is the same. You know, the house looks the same. The kids are just as happy if they went here or over there. They don't really care. They don't have to go to the special, playground at the other part of town, or to the special, kids center where like they have this beautiful equipment. Like they really don't
Yeah.
care. They're gonna have fun wherever you take them. And did you at the end of the day, did you do something for yourself?
Yeah. Ye-
That's what I would tell moms in general, probably.
Yes, we definitely need to hear that more. I know that my husband, I would, tell stress about, oh, I didn't get this done or I didn't get that done. And he's like, I don't really care. Like the how, like it doesn't bother him if I didn't mop the floors or, like, and my kids certainly don't notice if the floors are mopped or not. They don't care. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the next day it's a mess anyway again. So like really just stop feeling guilty that the house doesn't look perfect. And it took me a while to realize that, but now it's just that's really what I live by. It's really who
Yeah.
cares.
As long as your family's functioning, right? If everything's doing good, then who cares about the rest? If you could
Yeah.
tell your younger self one thing, assuming that she would listen, what would it be?
Um, that's a good one. But I would probably tell her to be confident in herself. I felt I feel like I spent most of my 20s just always doubting myself, like, is this the right thing I should be doing, or I should be pursuing career in this and in that, and use my education more. I feel like I'm, not really doing things that I should be doing, and what my family is gonna think about my career, and then I felt like I spent years and years trying to make it in the corporate world before really realizing it's not for me, and I just needed to do something for myself. And that's when I transitioned into the fitness industry, and it just life just took off for me there. But it took me many years of self doubt.
Mm,
So I would probably tell my younger self, like, don't waste all those
yeah,
years. Just do what. Just if you find something you're passionate about and want to do, just run with it.
yeah,
Just trust yourself and run with it. Who cares what people think about you, or what your family will say, or what was your degree in college? Really doesn't matter. I feel like most people don't do something completely different
yeah.
anyway than what they studied, right?
Yes. That's what I was thinking exactly, is that a lot of us, I mean, as we evolve as people and we grow and stuff, we end up kind of straying away from what we thought we were going to do or what we wanted to do anyways. But yeah, so thank you for sharing your story with us and your journey um, to where you are now. And I'm so excited for you and your new baby. And I hope that that goes well. And I continue to follow you on Instagram. So, where can everybody find you? How can tell us about your app, and then where we can follow you on social media?
Okay, so everything, if you go to mymommyworkouts.com, again, that's mymommyworkouts.com. There's a link to everything. There's a little bit about me and some little sample workouts, and I have a blog there as well where I write everything I've been talking about. Empowering women, and just do good things to do during pregnancy. And then also there's a link to my Instagram and Facebook, and you name it, Twitter, and to my app as well, that you can download and have on your phone, and then just get, when you're a new mom at home with your baby, you can just get your 5 minute workout in anytime, any day. So yeah, and then on Instagram is just the funnest thing, I think, and just following all the fellow moms. So that one is at mommy workouts underscore at the end.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Magdalena, for hanging out with me and yeah, sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with us.
Thank you, Ashley, so much for having me. This was so great. I love chatting with you. Thank you.
So I hope that episode was helpful for you guys. And if you want to check out Magdalena's app or her websites or follow her on any social media, You can find that on her show notes page at today'seden.com/podcast/015. That's today'seden.com/podcasts/015. So because I'm cheesy and I just love encouraging you guys through quotes, I have two for today. And the first one is about kind of how we resent our bodies after we give birth. And this quote says, "Instead of wishing away 9 months of pregnancy, I'd have cherished every moment and realized that the wonderment growing inside me was the only chance in life to assist God in a miracle." I just love that one. The last one is, "A woman who's just had a baby doesn't need to get her body back. She has a body right now, a perfect body that brought a human into this world." I hope that encourages you, and I'm so grateful for you choosing to listen to the Today's Eden podcast on your Wednesday when you could be doing a million other things. I'm so grateful for you. And I hope that you continue to listen in. And if you feel so led to do so, I would love for you to review and subscribe this podcast on iTunes. I would truly appreciate it. Have an awesome Wednesday.